Well, obviously just graduating with a medical degree opened up all sorts of opportunities, both early in my career, at the hospital level, junior medical officer level, and then I've moved on into general practice, and then on the back of the medical degree, and as I mentioned, I subsequently did an economics degree at the university, and through that I came to Canberra. I worked for the Australian Medical Association. I became CEO of the Australian Medical Association in Canberra. I've done various other jobs in Canberra. I've established the GPET, which was a Commonwealth-owned company that was charged with establishing a regionalised system of general practice postgraduate training, and most recently I've run an organisation called Professional Services Review, which I've done that for the last 4 years, which looks at doctors who are referred to this Professional Services Review entity, referred there by Medicare doctors who are maybe not overtly defrauding, but possibly working the Medicare system a little bit too vigorously, over-servicing and matters like that. And also at other times I've worked in Parliament House for Ministers for Health, for Dr. Woolridge, and more recently for the current Minister, Minister Lee. Yes, my wife's a University of Queensland medical graduate. My brother-in-law's a University of Queensland medical graduate. He's a paediatrician in Warragul, and another brother-in-law is a University of Queensland medical graduate. He's a respiratory physician in Adelaide. That's an interesting question. I mean, what immediately comes to mind are not necessarily things directly associated with the course. I enjoyed playing touch football on the ovals many afternoons. It's probably not quite relevant, but I remember when I did second year in medicine in 1968, the famous old God professor of anatomy, Professor Hickey, was still active. He was very much at the end of his career, but he would come occasionally and give a lecture, and he would demand that all the other lecturers also come and listen. It was, I guess, the end of an era where the professors did rule their departments with quite a bit of almost autocratic control. So that was just an interesting. But I remember him giving a lecture on an obscure anatomical topic, and drawing diagrams and going on to eventually to tell us that the conjoint tendon was neither a tendon nor conjoint. That all happened, I think, reasonably automatically, as it were. We graduated and then we applied to the various hospitals for an internship. I applied to Princess Alexandra Hospital, where I'd done quite a lot of time as a student, and was accepted there, although on the first day I was told I was actually going on a 10-week secondment to Maryborough Base Hospital. So off I went to Maryborough for 10 weeks. So that was my first experience, but going into the internship in a Queensland hospital sort of just flowed from sort of automatically after graduating. Well, obviously I met my wife, and I was a medical student, she was a medical student, so that had a major impact. But obviously you keep up friendships with people you knew, meet them, talk to them, keep in contact with people. Yeah, so I mean, from a staff point of view, I don't recall becoming such a big year. I don't recall any particular closeness to any of the staff in the medical school, but I did become, when I did my economics degree, I became very, very friendly with one of the lecturers. We still communicate and talk about health economics issues. He's retired now. He was I think ended as a senior lecturer, Darryl Dossel, in the department, but he was in the Department of Economics, not not medicine. I think running and managing a rural practice for 9 years, being on call there most of the time. I would like to think I did that reasonably successfully. The locals elected me to the local shire council, so I must have done something right. But going on to be the CEO of the Australian Medical Association in Canberra was fascinating, and I really couldn't have done that job without a strong grounding in medical practice, understanding how doctors saw the world and understanding the pressures in practice, but also a great benefit from the university's then Department of External Studies, which doesn't exist anymore under that name, but through which I did my economics degree. That was sort of invaluable in the various positions I've occupied in Canberra. Well, I grew up in a rural town. I grew up in Beaudesert. I was always interested in, I guess, had always anticipated I would work in a rural area. It was always my, for some reason when I was a student I'd always thought I'd end up as a GP in Wollongbar, but that never happened. I think I was sort of thinking I'd practice around the northern rivers of New South Wales, and then the opportunity came up to work at Tamarind Mountain, which was similar in some ways. You take the opportunities as they come. Yeah, I think you take your opportunities. I don't know that having a sort of focused, defined career pathway ahead of you, unless you want to be an academic in some sort of specific field, but the sort of general type of things I've done, just knowing what your opportunities are or taking the opportunities as they come.